Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. So today's topic, I came across this article titled "Many Americans Aren't Optimistic About Their Financial Situation This Year." Now, I'm pretty sure we all have a good, we have a good idea why that is. But this article is going to go over why that may be the case. And let's understand where optimism comes from, right? Optimism comes from certainty, right? And when it comes to finances, people may have a lot of bills that they're paying. Maybe they've lost their job, or they're just not, handling how, dealing with this virus. So a lot of people are uncertain about where the future is going. When you have that uncertainty, it's hard to feel confident about what you want to do with your finances or what you want to do with your money. So, it's important to understand why these people feel the certain, why a lot of people feel this way. So I'm just going to go over this article real quick and then just give my take on it. All right. So prices are rising, and that has many Americans concerned about their financial outlook for the year. Inflation surged 6.8% in November from a year ago, the fastest pace since 1982, according to the U.S. Department of Labor. People are paying more for everything, and from the gas to their cars to the food they put on the table. Energy prices are up 33.3%, and housing costs, categorized as shelter in the Consumer Price Index, increased 3.8%, the highest since 2007. Meanwhile, food prices jumped 6.1%. That can cause a big disruption on your budget, according to Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate. So as you can see that, obviously, if you're driving a car, if you have a car, then you can see that prices at the gas pump is much more expensive. Food at the grocery stores is much more expensive. Energy prices, depending on where you live, you're using a lot of energy and electricity. So everything is going up. But one thing that's not usually going up is people's incomes. Right, incomes are staying the same. So when the income is staying the same and everything is going up, that's less money you have to do with for anything else. Less money you're gonna save. You have to buy less things, put less food on the table. So you're gonna have to prioritize. And for a lot of people, we all know that a lot of people aren't great at managing money. So when a situation when it comes to an emergency like what we're dealing with right now, it's understandable why people are going to feel less optimistic about their financial situation, especially when you're not managing money properly. Those that are handling their money, that obviously have a wealth of income, they can sustain something, a situation like this better than those that don't have. So if you're someone that's living paycheck to paycheck, it's going to be important that you manage your money correctly, and obviously reducing debt. You want to make sure your finances are situated. But obviously, according to this article, a lot of people are struggling with that. All right. So to continue, for those that are trying to pay down debt or catch up on savings, it's very much of an obstacle to progress. He said, to be sure, 26% of Americans believe their financial situation will be worse in 2022, and of those, 70% believe inflation is the biggest barrier to their success, at Bankrate found. So for a lot of people, they think it's the inflation that's impacting them, in which it is, And even before the inflation, people were probably struggling, but not at the rate that they are now. And that's what happens during time, like when you're not managing your money correctly, when there's a situation like inflation going up, when there's some type of economic crisis, you're going to have a less of a margin for error. So you want to that's why it's important to make sure that you're allocating your resources and that you're getting debt down. So when crises happen, you can manage it accordingly. But when you're someone that's living paycheck to paycheck and you have a situation that's happening now, it's going to put you right at that top where you're going to struggle. It's going to impact you negatively. So it's important to understand that managing your money correctly is important. Making sure you're reducing debt and making sure you're saving a lot of money and you have an emergency fund to make sure that you can withstand crisis, situations like this. All right. So in addition, 42% believe their finances will stay about the same, with 44% those responding citing inflation as a reason for the lack of improvement. The financial website through YouGov PLC polled 2,450 adults on November through December 29th. Now, the Federal Reserve has long said it expected inflation to be short-lived since it is being driven by COVID-19 supply chain and demand issues. All right, so they think it's going to be transitory, which means they think this inflation is going to be transitory, which means short-term. But that's what they tell you. But most people think it's not going to be short-term. This is going to be here for a while. All right, even though they say it's going to be, it's going to be temporary. But many people think that's not going to be the case. Okay. So, however, the central bank announced in December it will make moves to combat inflation. It's going to accelerate the reduction of its monthly bond purchases and then will start raising interest rates, which will be expected to begin in late winter or early spring. My guess is going to be late winter, because the thing, when you're raising interest rates, what it does is slows down the economy. And I don't think right now we need the economy to slow down, but that's usually when inflation gets to a point where it's that high. Feds tend to like to increase their interest rate to slow it down. But what they're going to do is, they says by either late winter or early spring, that's what they're going to do. My guess is going to be late spring, but you never know, because you don't want to slow down the economy. And that's what raising interest rates does. Okay, so it says, so by late winter or early spring, the central bank typically raises interest rates to slow the economy and bring inflation down, like I just said. Now, in the meantime, McBride suggests tracking your spending and looking for opportunities to take advantage of sales, coupons, various discounts, and loyalty programs. My guess would be my advice would be to reduce your debt as much as you can. That's the best way. Obviously, you're going to be looking for sales anyways and looking for discounts, coupons. You're going to be doing that anyways. But my advice would be to reduce your debt, because the less money you have to pay to someone else is the more money that you can save, and just for a rainy day, for emergencies. All right. So it can be redeeming your cash credit card rewards as a way to defray out-of-pocket expenses. It can also be using the stash of gift cards you may have tucked away. The other top reason cited by those who don't anticipate any financial improvement, including the COVID pandemic: stagnant or declining wages, personal debt, and fluctuation interest rates. Of the 1/3 who expect their financial situation to improve, 46% attributed to making more money at work, and 36% said having less debt. Now, my thing when it comes to people that say, oh man, if I could just make more money, then my financial situation would improve. To me, I don't think that's, for most people, I think for most people that are struggling with money, I don't think that's the case. Because what typically happens is, people say, oh man, if I made more money, my financial situation will improve. But what typically happens is, as your income increases, so does your expenses. All right. So if you're struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and you're saying, oh man, if I just made more money, what typically happens is, because when you make more money, so does your expenses. So you're just stuck in the same situation and hoping that you can get that extra bonus or get that wage increase. But it's usually because you're mismanaging your money. Right? People need to manage their money much better. Need to make sure they're keeping expenses low. So if you can get that increase in wage, you want to make sure you keep your expenses the same, or if not, reduce it. But a lot of people are saying that 46% because if they made more money. But I typically don't think that's the case. It's when people make more money, not only does the income rise, but so does their expenses. So. So I think it's just, people just need to focus and for this year, people need to prioritize reducing their debt. I think that should be the focus for a lot of people. And the more debt you can reduce, the less money that you have to pay to some bank, the more money you can save, keep, and then, and save for a rainy day, just in case if there's any emergencies. All right, so that's all I have for today. All right, make sure to leave a comment down below if you got any questions. Make sure to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, so take care. Have a good one, guys. Later.